I found that interesting, coming from Oklahoma State, last name Holiday, no relation.
Yes. Well, you had to look, though, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got Pittsburgh last.
I do. I think the dark magic is over. I think
it's over.
I think it's over. I don't think Mike Tomlin can just continually being that team that wins 9 or 10 games and makes it into the playoffs every year. It's done. It's gone.
He's won 17 years in a row.
Yep, it's not happening. The dark magic's done. This year, though, I've got to win 7 games.
Oh, we struggle in all aspects of school.
Yeah.
We had PE down. That's about it.
And lunch.
PE and
I was really good lunch.
That has stayed true to form, hasn't it?
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Benchwarmers Basement Banter.
We're doing a little bit of a special episode today. We're doing a list of our top 10 favorite sports movies. Something we've not done too much. We did a little bit of an NFL favorite players. We did a couple other things, but we're excited to do this one. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok. We're a little bit over $10,000.
Yeah.
10,000 followers on that
I
one.
like the sound of $10,000. So.
Yeah, with $10,000 does sound better. We're also on YouTube. We have a little bit over 1,300 subscribers on there. We're Benchwarmers Basement Banter on there, and we're BBB Sports Talk on TikTok.
Yes, we also got a Facebook page, Benchwarmers Basement Banter. We got a X page, a Instagram page. We've got a Kick even.
Yes, we have Kick. If you go to our TikTok or Facebook, all the socials are linked. That'll tell you how to get to each and every one of them. So, without further ado, let's get started on our list.
Oh, I was also going to mention not to date this episode, but we are missing one of them. One of us, and
Yes.
he is at the Blues opening home opener tonight.
Yes,
so,
he is. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
He's got his hat. I'm wearing it.
Yeah, he's got. I wore mine on purpose, and this cool little pendant I got from Mexico with the Blues logo on it.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, we'll get started. You wanted to go Woody's list first?
Yeah, let's start with Woody's.
With Woody's list. So he sent us a. Of course, he did it with Woody's way and not the way that me and Rogers did it, because
he did a Microsoft Word. He's not really gotten the whole Google Sheets thing figured out.
No, and he's got to be different.
Because he doesn't know that Google Sheets, if you input it on that, it's automatically in our drive.
Yes. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm gonna bring it up here if I can find it. Gosh, Woody Sport Movies. There it is. Of course it goes. Alrighty. So he went number 1, and glad we mentioned hockey. First thing he went was with Miracle.
Yep, Miracle on Ice, man. He said something about beating some commies.
He did say that. That's exactly what he said. How can I not put USA beating commies at the top? Is quote by Alan Wood. He said, Kurt Russell did an amazing job playing Coach Herb Brooks, and one of the biggest upsets of all time.
Oh, absolutely. We had no business skating with those Russians.
No, we didn't. But it's definitely a sports movie. Everybody needs to see it at some point in time, and it's it's a miracle. That's what it was. It's a very inspiring movie.
It is.
I would say.
Even if it is hockey, I'll give that movie a pass.
He's not the biggest hockey fan, even though he's wearing the hat, but it is Woody's hat that he left here.
That's right.
All right. Number 2, very good movie. Remember the Titans.
Oh, yeah. I believe that was on all of our lists,
It did. That's one of the few that's on all of our list, for sure.
It is a movie based in, I think, the 70s.
60s or 70s.
60s or 70s, and about bringing a high school team together bringing a whole community together by bringing the blacks and the whites playing a segregated school, or non-segregated school. And,
Yes.
just a great story in general. If you haven't seen it, most people have. It's going to be on most everyone's favorite sports movies list.
For sure.
It's an all-time classic, and left side and strong side, man.
Yeah, strong side, left side. So, all right, number 3 for Woody I was kind of surprised to see this one there, and I think you were too. Is Warrior.
Yeah, it's a great
It's
movie.
a great movie.
I actually
You guys will see where it's on my list. Actually, it might surprise you too.
I found this movie on Netflix a couple years ago, just randomly when I was watching movies late one night. It's about two brothers. They both went to the military. I think that their mom passed away, and then their dad just kind of left the scene.
Yeah.
They separated.
He was a trainer, and then he was a trainer. I don't know if it's MMA or just boxing, but he was a trainer. Drunk, all that kind of stuff for the movies. Then the one brother's a high school teacher, and then the other one just got back from the military.
Where he was dishonorably
discharged. But then on the way back, he also like broke into a tank and rescued a bunch of people. It's a great movie. If you this is probably the one on our list. Well, I say our list. It's on two of our lists that if you have not seen, you really need to go watch.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's kind of an under the radar great sports movie.
Yes, for sure. So, I need to bring that back up. Number 4, Varsity Blues.
An all-time classic. I love that dog. I think it's a pig.
It's a pig, I think. I've watched this movie, but I really don't remember it. So.
I mean, it's a great mixture of comedy and also a good vision of what like Texas football looks like.
Yes. Texas football, Texas high school football, definitely legendary.
Yes.
In the sense, and is that the one with Bubba?
It is.
And
He's the one that says, "I love that dog," and then Skeeter says, "I think it's a pig," or Tweeter.
There's a concussion thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like vaguely remember it.
Starts like bleeding from his ears and stuff.
Yeah.
Coach just says he's fine. You know?
Yeah, he's good. It's all good. So number 5 is actually a movie. I don't think I've actually seen this movie. It's on 2 lists of the 3 here, but it's For the Love of the Game.
Oh, it's a great movie. When you're talking sports movies, one of the great things that I look for is Kevin Costner in it.
That is true. He is always great in sports movies.
Yes, Kevin Costner is a pitcher in this one. It's telling a story about his life as he's going through one game. So he was drafted by the Tigers, had a long career, and his coach his owner gave him an ultimatum, like, hey, I'm selling the team. You can either retire or we're trading you in the offseason.
Okay.
So he's going through the decision of this the whole time, and while this is going on, he is throwing a perfect game. His name is Billy Chappell, and one of the favorite phrases in this movie is after he throws the perfect game, the announcer says, the cathedral that is Yankee Stadium is now owned by a chapel.
Oh, that is a great line. That is a great line.
He throws the perfect game. If you haven't watched it, it's a great movie, and one of my favorites. This one could have easily been on my top 3. Like, it is fantastic.
You gave that synopsis there, and I kind of remember parts of it. I think I may have at least seen parts of it.
Yeah, more than likely. It's on TV occasionally. But yeah, if you haven't watched it in full, watch it. It's one that if I ever see it on TV or if I see it on Netflix, I can't pass it by.
Yeah. All right, we're going to number 6 here for Woody, and this is a great movie. We got Coach Carter.
Coach Carter. I mean, one of the Disney movies, the sports Disney movies, just like Remember the Titans.
Yes,
that
I was getting ready to say,
when Disney made good sports movies.
Yes, very good sports movies.
Coach Carter is one of my favorite. I mean, it's about a coach that comes to a very poverty neighborhood that he grew up in, set a lot of the high school records, I believe.
Yes, he did.
And he went and coached the team, whipped them in shape, and of course turned them into a pretty good basketball team.
He did, and then also with the education stuff and all that stuff in that part of the movie where
He really preached the educations first.
Yeah, shuts down the season for him because of it, and then he comes through and he's like, he gives the stats on how many people from that high school graduate and how he's building men, and then I should probably have this speech ingrained in my mind, but the speech by at the end whenever Ortiz comes, I think his name's Ortiz.
Yeah.
He comes back there and talking about his greatest fear is.
Yeah, what is your greatest fear?
What is your greatest fear? That is an all-time sports speech, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
So, great movie, Coach Carter. So, 7, he's got Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, another one about Texas
high school football.
Booby Miles,
Miles.
It's a shame that he didn't never make it to the NFL, but ACLs and that stuff happens.
Oh, yeah.
It's the story of Moxon, man.
Yeah, he says Billy Bob Thornton actually played a serious role, showing real pressures about Texas high school football, and then he says Booby Miles all day. That's what he says. So Moving on to 8, we got an all-time classic, Hoosiers.
Yes, that's a one about, I believe, in Indiana
Indiana high school basketball. Indiana high school basketball is a very real thing as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the Texas high school football we're talking about.
Okay. This is an older movie. I watched it again just recently, and I kind of confirmed that it's not my favorite. I have a hard time following it because, I mean, it's before my time, and in my opinion, it's just not that well filmed.
It's an older movie, but it's a classic.
Great.
It's
the story's
a classic.
outstanding.
As he says, Woody quote, "Pass the ball 5 times, or Papa Gene Hackman putting your bleep on the bench."
That's right. That's right.
All right, number 9 is a classic for sure. I'm actually surprised it's not higher. He's got Sandlot.
Okay. Yes. I think that one's such a classic that I actually forget about it sometimes.
Yeah,
it was in my honorable mentions, but it didn't make my top 10. It's more of a children's movie, I guess.
It is, but it's great. I think every time I see it, I watch it.
I haven't seen it in forever.
Forever.
But yeah, it's a great movie, man, about a bunch of kids that just picked up a backyard game every single day, and they beat the Little League team a couple times.
Yes. And the Beast.
The Beast.
That
Which is
inspired.
just a Saint Bernard, I believe.
No, it's an English Mastiff. Fun fact: my uncle raised English Mastiffs for that reason.
Okay.
He'd always liked the Sandlot, and then he got English Mastiff, started raising puppies, and that was one of the reasons.
That one also tells a little bit of the story of the history of the home run king between Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron. So that was a cool one too, even though it didn't actually just say that was Hank Aaron, that was his neighbor.
That's who it was.
Yes.
So, at number 10 for Woody, he has Glory Road.
This is one that I don't know if I've actually seen.
I don't think I've seen this one either. So I'm just going to read what Woody says here. He says, Coach Haskins literally changed the way he called. Oh, I do. I've seen parts of this. It is about the Texas Western basketball team bringing in black players for the first time.
Okay.
I thought it had a different name.
I bet
Honestly,
he knows. If it made his top 10 all time, he probably knows
he's
better
probably
than we do.
right. But now that I read the synopsis, I do remember
I really don't
this.
think that I've seen it.
It is a good movie. Just, one of those kind of long lines. I remember the Titans and segregation. And another movie that we're going to talk about on your list.
Absolutely,
talking about that kind of stuff. And it's always great movie. I think that Texas Western team won the national title that year, too.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, we're through Woody's here. He has some honorable mention here.
The classic Happy Gilmore. I
Yes,
believe they
he
made
put
his
Happy
honorable
Gilmore. It made his. He had Major League. Surprised that makes his honorable mention.
Yeah. See, you guys both had Major League on your list or honorable mention. I had the sequel.
You did.
It's one of the
Yeah,
ones
I
that
thought
I
that
think
was-
the
that
sequel's
was-
better than the original.
That was different. He has Moneyball. Just a great one about the old.
Yes, tells the story about Billy Bean and how he kind of changed the way that we look at baseball.
Oakland should still have a baseball team.
Yeah, they're going to Vegas.
He's got We Are Marshall, about the Marshall
Plane crash.
plane crash.
The football team that they lost everyone but a couple freshmen that did not dress and a guy that was late for the bus.
Yep.
But they rebuilt their entire squad. They took a few years to replenish, and now they're a respectable football team. They've won a few games, but that was, I think, several years ago, 80s.
That was 80s,
Yeah.
Marshall in the late 90s was known for Mr. Throw His Hand Up, Rand University.
That's right. That's right.
And Chad Pennington, who I think the only reason he got drafted was because he stole Randy Moss. But
Well,
So another other one, he's got Bull Durham, and he's got the Rocky movies. Actually, it's kind of surprised those don't make it. Now that I see that, I kind of wish
They're all-time greats. They're all-time greats. The whole Rockies franchise. But
now that I see that, I kind of wish I had something else on my list.
Rocky 4 is the best one.
Actually, I like the Creed movies a lot.
Okay.
Big fan of them.
Okay. As far as Bull Durham, that's another fine example of the Kevin Costner effect.
Yes, it is. Another one.
He's Crash Davis, the all-time leading home run leader in minor league baseball. Hit that home run and no one even knew it. Great. I love Bull Durham. I think it made my honorable mention as well. But I kind of kept the list a little bit different. I went with stuff that I prefer over stuff that is more mainstream.
Yep.
But I think that puts us where we can
that
go
puts
to
us
break.
to a commercial.
We'll go through our lists kind of in sequence together as we go on our next sections, and we'll be back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So we are going to go in here, and since both of us are actually here, we're going to bring up our list, and we're going to do a countdown from 10 to 1 on both of our lists. So
Yeah.
You want to start off with your number 10?
Yeah, I'll start with my number 10, one that is one of the best-known sports movies of all time. Another example of a Disney sports movie
Yes.
that when Disney was making great sports movies. This is Field of Dreams, and also the Kevin Costner
Kevin
effect.
Costner. Again, he's everywhere.
Probably the biggest well-known baseball movie of all time, if I would say.
I think you're right.
No one knows who Shoeless Joe Jackson is until this
Yes.
movie came out. So the Black Sox scandal is
Well,
actually
Some of us, like you and me,
right.
did, but not
The general knowledge of
Yes.
people of the Black Sox scandal and Joe Jackson, well known because of this movie, and it tells a great story. Go the distance, stuff like that.
Yes.
Just a great made movie. It didn't make as high as it would be on a lot of others, me, because I like some other movies better. But this is a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, which I would say just about everyone has, check it out.
And of course, you got the Field of Dreams filled with. I've driven by a few times
Yes,
with my
MLB
work,
actually
and then
played a couple games on
yes,
last year.
MLB played there twice. I think twice.
Yeah, the White Sox played both times.
Yes, the Cardinals are supposed to play one of those times. I think. but
Yes,
got
I think they
moved.
played against the Reds and then another one against the Yankees.
Yeah, the Cardinals are supposed to, and then COVID happened, I think,
Yep.
and then the Cardinals got moved to this game they played there last year in Atlanta. So number 9, you've got a movie that we've already talked about a little bit,
Yeah, Coach Carter.
Coach Carter. Just a great movie.
Another Disney movie, and just a great movie. We talked about it quite a lot
first
earlier with
segment.
Woody, so we're not going to cover much on
No.
it now, but also made my list.
Yes, if you haven't seen Coach Carter, go watch Coach Carter.
Yes.
Okay, I actually remember my dad taking me to the movie theaters to watch it.
Yeah, and it teaches a lot about how academics always come
Yes.
before sports, and hard work gets you a long way. You don't have to even shoot the ball if you can play lockdown defense.
That's right. That's right. And there's only one Ty Crane, who's LeBron James.
That's right.
All right, you're number 8. What you got?
The Rookie. This is Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
He is a high school, I believe, science teacher, biology teacher, high school biology
I think
teacher.
you're right. Yeah.
And he starts coaching the baseball team. I think he started as the assistant coach, and then the original coach just kind of bailed on him. But he starts out with just throwing some BP or playing some catch with the catcher. He said, okay, just let one loose one time. Turns out he still got it. They said that they win a state championship or regional championship, one of the two.
Yep.
That
He's gotta go
he's
try
got
out.
to go do a tryout. He does it. All of a sudden, his phone's ringing off the hook. Said that if I remember the scout said, if I tell them that I am sending them a 40-year-old closer, they're going to laugh at me. But if I don't turn in a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, they're going to fire me.
Yes. And that is true.
So, great movie. I love it. It's another one that anytime it's on, I'm watching it.
So, what's kind of funny now that you bring up this movie, and I'm kind of thinking about it. There has been some times where, baseball or these stadiums have these pitching radars in the stadium where you can throw it, and some people have gotten signed.
Yeah.
From that a few times, like
Yep.
people go in there and throw 100 and.
Or at least gotten some looks,
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like at least one of them got signed.
Yeah.
Minor league. I don't think he went anywhere, but still, yeah.
It's like that.
It can happen. It can happen. So, all right, number 7.
Varsity Blues, another one that we talked about a little bit. Just boys will be boys, man. It's
Yes.
about a high school team that has a good time, plays a lot of football, and tells about how Texas football is life.
Yes. All right, so these next few ones you got are some movies I don't think I've seen, nor have I ever really heard of.
Oh,
so
you've not seen Tin Cup?
No, so I'm interested in this.
So this is a golf movie. It's actually about it's Kevin Costner. He is an instructor, or he's basically an alcoholic that became a golf instructor and then started trying out for the tour a little bit and made it all the way to where he was going to be in the lead for a PGA championship. And then because he's a tin cup and he wants to always go for the home run, he hits one into a water hazard, grabs another ball, hits it into the water hazard again, and does it, and then just has a complete meltdown on hole number 18.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'd do.
You should absolutely watch it.
I need to watch it.
You would love this
I
movie.
definitely need to watch it. I've seen some golf movies, but I'd not seen this one. So
Yeah.
when I get home, I might have to go watch
It's an
it.
all-time classic. Love me some Tin Cup.
Nice.
And he gets the girl.
That's even better. I mean, he didn't win the PGA Championship, which is, life-changing money, but you got a life-changing girl, so.
Absolutely. So my next one up is called Greater. This one's on Netflix currently. So if you haven't watched it, it's a football movie. A guy that he grew up in Arkansas, and he wanted to be a Razorback. So he got college scholarships for many other places, but he didn't go one for Arkansas.
Okay.
So the Arkansas coach says, "Hey, you need to be about 40 pounds heavier." He comes into and they let him walk on as to be on the practice squad, basically.
Yep.
He comes in 40 pounds heavier, but it was all fat, and they didn't like that. So
he didn't specify what kind of heavy.
exactly. So they said, "Hey, it's got to be in muscle." So he starts training, and it's a Christian movie actually. So it's very religious, and that's kind of what the whole movie is about, as far as tells about his battles through life and everything like that, and very difficult. But anyway, this is a real story. It's about Burlsworth, I believe. He got drafted by the Colts, and then on his way to the Colts training facility, died in a car crash.
Oh wow!
So he ended up being a 4-year starter at Arkansas. Became a great player there, obviously. Got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts and was projected to be a starter on their team as a rookie. Then he died in that car crash, and actually never even got to sign his contract to get his money.
Oof.
So, yeah.
That's a tough one. So
a great movie, tells a great story, and highly recommend it. One that is a little bit tougher than most people don't see.
It sounds like a tough watch, but I will say, I know being in Arkansas a few times, Arkansas football is a religion down there in Arkansas.
For sure. For sure. And, okay, so another one that we have is For Love of the Game. We talked about this one earlier. That one, I gave the whole things about Billy Chappell. He got drafted by the Tigers. They gave him the ultimatum. Throws a perfect game.
Yep.
Great movie. Kevin Costner again.
Always. Next one is a very good movie. Almost made my list.
Yes, 42.
42.
So this one it's actually a fairly recent movie. I think it came out in about 2010, 2012 neighborhood.
Somewhere around there.
Really good, and I think Chadwick Boseman plays
Chadwick
Boseman plays
R.I.P.
Jackie Robinson. One of my favorite things from this movie is the quote is he's talking to Branch Rickey in this. He says, "So you're telling me you want someone that doesn't have the spine to fight back?" And Branch Rickey says, "No, I want someone that has the spine to not fight back."
Yes.
So it tells the story about the first black player, Jackie Robinson, getting put into the major leagues and how that all transpired, and tells a really good story.
It's a very well good movie. It's very well made. Really shows the racism that he went through and some of that stuff. And if you haven't seen 42, I don't know what you're doing, but go watch 42 for sure.
Yeah,
fantastic. Just a fantastic movie.
And love me some Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, R.I.P. Love that guy too. Every movie I ever watched with him he's great in.
Absolutely. That brings me to my number 2, which I think this actually was weirdly number 2 on all of our lists. Remember the Titans.
Yeah. I think for us it's nostalgia too, but just that. It is a great movie.
Yes, it is.
Excellent movie.
And that movie just came out prime time, right in the middle of our childhoods.
Yes.
Anytime I watch that movie, it hits me right in the childhood.
Yeah, every time for me too. It's not just that. It's just such a good movie with the great story that it tells, and everything about that movie. Denzel is amazing in it. The
Coach
little girl,
Boone,
Coach Boone. The little girl was just Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, people always
she's
talk
hilarious.
about how great Ryan Gosling is now, but people forget how
he was a liability.
An absolute liability.
So, just remember the Titans is not just sports movies. I think it's all-time great movie of all.
It is.
Anything.
If you haven't seen it, I don't know what rock you've been living under.
Yeah, what have you been doing, dude?
But maybe you don't have TV. I don't know. You're probably not watching us on YouTube then.
Nah, probably not. But if you somehow see this and you have not watched Remember the Titans, do it ASAP. pause the video, come back later, pause the video, go watch it, then come back.
Yes.
Honestly.
All right, guys. This brings me up to my number one movie.
Yes.
It's probably the most quotable sports movie for me. You guys both had the original one on
Yes.
there. I love the original one, but this is one of the rare cases that I think the sequel is better. Major League 2 comes in. Turns out the team's kind of in shambles now. All of a sudden,
Yep.
Willie Mays Hayes trying to hit for power. He was in an acting film in his off season. Pedro Serrano's Buddha now, so
Yeah,
he does. He
no
doesn't-
more Jobu.
no more Jobu, and honestly, this is great. Charlie Sheen doesn't have his fastball anymore.
Yes. No more Wild Thing.
Jack Parkman's a jerk,
Yep.
and of course, Bob Uecker playing Harry Doyle is probably
but-
some of the best acting I've seen in my
Bob
life.
Uecker is
Bob
a
Uecker
legend.
makes everyone great, but he
Yes.
plays that Harry Doyle to a T.
Yeah. So, actually, fun fact: I just played golf the other day with Al Hrabowski, and one of the questions we asked was about Bob Uecker and how he is as a person. He said he is the same person as what he played Harry Doyle with.
That's
He
awesome.
said he's hilarious. He's still doing it. He's 90 years old. He goes out and swims every day, and he's like, there is nobody like Bob Uecker.
Yeah, I believe he played for the Cardinals back in the days.
I think so, yeah.
Back in like the 50s.
Yeah. But he's
Fun
still
fact.
still doing it. I think he's part time. He doesn't travel, but he's still Brewers play by
Yeah,
play
he's been
guy.
the Brewers announcer since the 70s.
Yeah.
Been there forever. And I think he did officially retire a couple of years ago, but he's still out
Yeah.
there. He
Yeah.
still makes appearances.
Yep. So, alrighty, let's.
That pretty much wraps up my list. I've got a couple honorable mentions that I want to mention
Yes.
real quick, and that's Happy Gilmore, which is on Woody's honorable mention as well. Just a funny movie about a guy that was just a hockey player that
Yeah.
turned out he can hit the ball a lot farther than anyone else.
Yes.
Sandlot, it's a kids movie
Nostalgia.
about guys just, hanging out in the backyard. The quote from that one is, at one point in everyone's life, you went outside and played with your friends for the last
Yes.
time, and you never knew it.
Yep.
So that's a quote from that I may have butchered a little bit, but you get the gist.
Pretty close.
Talladega Nights. That came out when we were all in high school or middle
Oh,
school.
man,
We've watched it a million times.
A
It's got
million times.
quotes.
We quote all the time.
Love me some Will Ferrell.
Can't quote on this show, but
Yeah, but
off the show, trust us, we're
a
quoting it
little
all
bit
the
of a
time.
great adult comedy movie.
Yes.
We love it. Same with Bull Durham. He's just a little bit older.
Yep.
An adult comedy movie. Everyone loves New Kalush and Crash Davis, and Nelly and I think Millie were both in there too. The women and great movies. And another one from that same era is one that you guys didn't mention, and I
No.
thought that needed some loving. Groundhog Day. Bill Murray, man.
Yeah.
You got to bring out a Bill Murray.
And golf.
How did none of us put Space Jam on any of these? Just FYI. How did we all miss Space Jam?
That actually is my number one. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna take a commercial break while I recover from realizing I screwed up. We will be right back.
Back.
All right, we are back, and I'm gonna start reading off my list here. So we're gonna go back. I'm gonna go down from 10 to 1, and I can't believe that this one did not make your guys' list at all here at number 10. But I'm going with The Water Boy.
Water sucks.
It really sucks. Water sucks. It really sucks.
I mean-
Gatorade's better.
Well, I don't know how I didn't get that one on my list either. I love me some Adam
I
Sandler.
love Adam Sandler.
Back
love
when Happy Madison Films was legit.
Oh,
just
yes.
pumping out classics.
pumping out bangers after banger
Yes.
after banger. So, Bobby Boucher, it's insanely quotable.
Yeah.
We're about that time Bobby Boucher returned at halftime and led the
Mud Dogs,
Mud
to
Dogs
the
to
Super Bowl,
the
or
Bourbon Bowl.
Bourbon Bowl.
And there's also, there's some things about the coach and, overcoming adversity from the other coach and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
and Vicky Valancourt,
Vicky
man.
Valancourt is just amazing. So, The Water Boy. I really can't believe it didn't make your guys' list. Not even honorable mention.
There's just so many great movies, and I can think of 10 more that didn't make my list that would be fantastic to be on the list.
Yeah.
We could have made this top 25, and I think I could have filled it up easily.
Yeah. All right, number 9 for me. I gotta keep looking because I don't always remember.
Friday Night
Lights. It made all 3 of our list. Another movie I remember going seeing in theaters with my dad. It was like any sports movie my dad was gonna take me to see, basically.
Heck yeah. Friday Night Lights actually didn't make mine. I had the other Texas football
you did. That's
movie.
right. That's right. So, just remember watching it and just absolutely loving it as a kid. BB Miles was really memorable in it, and the coach and just everything. Just great movie.
You know, Moxon, the greatest backup quarterback of all time, man.
Yeah. All right, number 8 for me is Miracle. So we talked about that. That was Woody's number 1, which I don't know why we went 1 to 10 on Woody, and then
I just rolled with
it's
it.
fine. We made it work, but talking about the Miracle on Ice, something just absolutely legendary. Olympics, winning the gold medal against the powerhouse Russian team. I mean, put it in perspective. This was basically like another team beating a dream team. Good way to compare it.
Yeah, that's like if the United States basketball team would have lost the Olympics this year, or the 2008 year, or
92 or 96.
Although that France may be counting for us.
Yeah. little alien out there that might start causing some issues.
Yeah.
All right, number 7. Yeah, 7.
Number 8. No, number 8's The Sandlot.
Yeah, 8 Sandlot. Sorry, I lost track. A little hard reading on my
Counting's
phone. It's hard reading on my phone and figure out where it is. All right, Sandlot. Just nostalgia. I've watched it all the time. Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I absolutely love that nickname.
Heck yeah.
He makes it to the majors, and seeing that and seeing him, the other guy, make the call is amazing at the end. And then I already talked about my love for English Mastiffs.
Yeah. Don't forget about the greatest powerhouse of all time, the catcher. I can't remember his name.
We're old. We don't always remember this stuff. But
the greatest power hitter of all time.
Yes. And I mean, just a great movie. Every kid, I don't care how old, the movie is, every kid needs to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Great kids movie. All right, next one. I got Coach Carter. Once again, talked about it. All 3 of our lists. It's a great movie. That's all you can say about it.
No doubt about that.
Talks about the. Oh shoot! I didn't.
That's all right.
Talks about the academics big time, and shutting down the season, and it's just a great movie.
Well,
So
next is a movie that I have never seen.
You've never seen it? It's
or
a
heard of,
very
to be honest.
recent movie. I went a little different on the route here because it's motorsports. I went with Ford versus Ferrari here.
Okay.
So I guess I could kind of read this as a synopsis to you because you've never seen this movie.
Yeah, tell me.
And if you guys have, I think it was up for some big time awards when it came out.
Okay.
It was up in the Oscars and stuff like that. But it tells the story of back in the 1960s. It's early 60s. I'm trying to think what year the GT40 came out. I think 1964. Basically, Ford was kind of getting beat because of sports cars and all this stuff, and they were trying to get a younger crowd. Ferrari, Enzo, was only focused on making race cars and this stuff, and he was about bankrupt. And Ford went over there. They were going to buy Ferrari to get this big line of these sports cars and all this stuff.
Okay.
Enzo uses that offer to sell it to Fiat. Instead, backs out of the Ford deal. Makes the Ford guy, I think it was Henry II, I think. It could have been Edson. I'd have to remember that for sure. Makes him very angry. Ford decides that they're going to build a car to win Le Mans, which is the 24-hour race in France, biggest race at the time in the world.
Okay.
They make the car. At first, it doesn't do that great. And then they notice that this American guy by the name of Carroll Shelby has made his own car, and he ends up winning his class in Le Mans. And then they go and Ford comes there, and that's how the Ford Carroll Shelby, the Super Snakes, all that stuff, that's how that got started.
Okay.
Carroll goes in there. It's played by Matt Damon, Carroll Shelby is.
All right. Yeah.
Christian Bale plays Ken Miles, who is the driver of
Batman
one of the
himself,
GT40s. Huh? Yeah, he doesn't look like Batman in this. He's pretty skinny.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. Tells this great story of how Ford ended up going and beating all these Italian sports cars with this GT40, and really it's just shows an American pride.
Yeah.
And an American-made machine going and beating everybody, and they end up actually, if you look in this, it's one of my favorite stories. I've watched the Carroll Shelby documentary too. Big car guy.
Yeah.
And watch the action. So watching the documentary that was on Netflix, you see some of the liberties they take to make the film, but it's great film. And Ford actually ended up winning, and Carroll Shelby went in Le Mans like 4 straight years after this. Kind of started a dominant stretch, and the Shelby Cobra is one of the most famous cars of all time, and
Yes.
the Ford GT40 is also one of the most famous cars of all time. So
All right.
it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend doing it. Watching
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna have to check it out because
Yeah.
I definitely have not seen or heard of this movie.
Yep. So, alrighty, my next movie I got Happy Gilmore. For me, I'll just tell you a quick story from me. I always remember my mom and dad took me to play mini golf as a kid, and it was before cell phones. If not, they would have this on video of me gunning down on my hands and knees as a little kid at a mini golf course and saying, "Are you too good for your home ball?" in public, just out there, just doing that.
Absolutely.
But
Man fought Bob Barker.
he did. Bob Barker is
He's
a
got it.
beast.
Yeah.
I mean, just to me, it is one of the greatest sports movies of all time.
I mean, he's
It's
just trying to save his grandma's
He's
home.
trying to save his grandma's home, and we're going to see what Happy Gilmore 2 is. They are making it right now. Shooter is also one of the best villains of all time.
Yes.
And then the next one I went with is Major League. Just insanely quotable. Wild Thing is great. Willie Mays Hayes. I mean, just the way that whole team comes together.
Yeah, it's just an island of misfit toys that comes around and they win the division and then they lose to the gosh darn White Sox.
Was it White Sox?
It's White Sox.
Okay. They beat the Yankees to get into the playoffs, right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's because after that they end up winning the World Series in one of those, I think, right?
They
Either 2 or 3.
They get there in the second one. Yes.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just Pedro Serrano is a legendary character in my opinion.
Leads the league in home runs, RBIs, and total baldness.
Yes. Same here. So next one I got Remember the Titans. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Just an absolute banger of a movie. Great message. Denzel Washington on it is amazing. And actually my number 1 movie I have is Warrior.
Okay.
I freaking love that movie.
It's outstanding.
So good, and that was back
This
when I
is
was
actually a low budget film too. I'm
Yes,
pretty sure
it is.
because, like I said, the only way I found it is because it was just already chilling on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and I just happened to see I actually enjoy watching MMA
I said
and boxing movies.
This was back when I was like every UFC I watched every single one. Not quite there anymore, but I still try to watch it.
Another one you should check out is Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep. Southpaw's a great movie too, and as I mentioned, some of those Creed movies are really good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Warrior's just a great story. I also really love Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's great.
Everything Tom Hardy's in, I love and I will watch.
I believe Woody said in his, "Don't mess with Tom Hardy."
Yes, except he did not say best. So, all right, we're going to come back here and talk about some honorable mentions or some movies that did not make our list.
Some oversights.
Oversights that we realized that we had, to be honest about it. So, we will be right back. All right, welcome back. So we're going to start off and just say we realized we had some oversights, and this is a tough list to make, and we probably should have made it like 20.
Yeah,
Or
20 would have
15.
probably been a lot better for me.
Yeah.
We did the 10 and 5, and just as I've been talking about the movies that we've been talking about, it brought other movies into my head. It's like, man, that should have made my list.
I did have some honorable mentions I did not mention in the last one for me. Really, the only one that we have not talked about is Dodgeball.
Dodgeball, the true
underdog story. Also, just a completely quotable movie.
Joni loves Chachi.
Yes.
Just so much about that movie. I do love me some. Shoot, I can't even think about it now. The big guy. What's his name?
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, yes. I was saying Vic in my mind.
No,
Yeah,
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn, great in everything he does.
Yes, Ben Stiller is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
in that movie. I mean, the commitment that he had in that is great.
Ben Stiller's a great actor.
Yes.
I also love him in Zoolander.
Yes, Steve the Pirate.
Steve the Pirate.
One of my favorite characters of all time. And then it's always like, when I see him in other movies, like, he's in 42, and you know what I'm talking about there in 42, it is jarring to
Yes.
see him and think, that is Steve the Pirate.
That is Steve the Pirate.
So, couple other movies, though, that we want to mention. First off, we already mentioned it, Space Jam.
How do we
Honestly, that should be... that. I have a graphic.
If Woody was
I'm
here,
not
he'd
going to
be
show
on board
it.
with us. This should have made all of our top 10.
Honestly, it should be number one for all of us. It's definitely number one for me, and I didn't
Yeah.
even think about it. The amount of times as a kid that I spent watching Space Jam. I still watch it today. If it comes on, I am watching Space Jam.
Yeah, you know, I mean, talking about Michael Jordan's three-peat,
Yes.
followed by another three-peat, and then like it just showed his
Baseball career.
Gave
How
me
much-
kind of the whole rundown.
How
on
much
Michael
he
Jordan.
loves golf.
Yes,
He absolutely loves
it's
it.
become a problem now at this point. But
Yeah, you know. Yeah, he's retired. That's what he gets to do.
Yeah.
I've heard some people talk about playing his private golf course and how it's like one of the most crazy experiences you could have.
probably left with your pocket a little bit lighter too because
Oh, I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. That was the whole thing on the Dream Team. On the Dream Team doc was how him and the coach there. I can't think of what his name was. It Chuck something. But he was a Detroit coach, and they didn't think they'd like each other. Instead, they just started playing golf every single day.
Yeah,
Every day, and then they would schedule their practices around golf.
I love it.
So, but Looney Tunes in there as well, which is great. Bugs Bunny and
The perfect combination.
It is one of the perfect combinations. Honestly, we talked about The Sandlot being a great kids movie, but Space Jam is honestly number one
It was
for
a prime
me.
'90s movie.
Yes,
with
so much '90s. Michael Jordan at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how he managed to do this and still win a bunch of championships in a row, but
Well, you talk about that in shoot, I didn't do that. We actually. I was trying to think. It was a YouTube it was part of the Dream Team doc where they're talking about him filming. I think it's part of the Dream Team doc.
Okay.
And they made a whole court there on set, and every single night they would play pickup games, and it wasn't just the other people that were in the movie.
yeah, like Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley,
Yeah.
Sean Bradley, Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy Bogues.
I think that's the group.
But it was also that's everybody the Monstars took.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. David Robinson.
David Robinson. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. But then they were flying in Grant Hill into that, and basically all the players you could think of were flying into that set to play pickup basketball every single night, and they said they were some of the best basketball I've never seen.
Yep.
Played.
I do remember hearing about that
yeah.
story. They said that in the 30 for 30 films thing. That was just not the
Maybe that's what I know. There's a movie
one's
that's
on Netflix now. Why am I blanking on the one that they made about the Bulls championships?
Oh, The Last Dance.
The
That's
Last
what it
Dance.
is.
It's on
Yes,
The Last
it's on The
Dance.
Last Dance.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Another one that was oversight for me as not necessarily oversight because when I thought of 42, I thought of this one as well because it's another baseball movie that's just a number. This is 61 asterisk. This is the story of Roger Maris passing the Babe Ruth record. He showed the stress that he went through in the final weeks because
Ooh,
no one
that's
wanted
so stressful.
Ruth's record to be broken. The reason that I had the asterisk at first is because he played 2 more games than Ruth, and they didn't want to give him the record. He actually beat it with 3 games left, so it was actually
He
official.
still officially beat it for sure.
Yeah, but he actually missed a few weeks in the back end of that season because of all the stress. He was actually losing hair.
Yes, he lost his hair.
He was afraid to enter the field because people were throwing at him things. They didn't want Bambino's curse or Bambino's record to be broken. And also, if Mickey Mantle doesn't get hurt that season because of illness, he probably was on pace too.
Yeah,
I believe he was pacing Maris all the way into the 40s of home runs.
I think he was
and
too, yeah.
Mantle missed a full month or 2 of the season. So. Great movie. Love that one. And I wish that one would have been made on my honorable mention as well.
Yeah.
I just noticed it earlier.
So, a couple other ones. The kind of the whole series, the last movie that I just seen, I didn't like as much as the first two. Woody had Rocky series in there, and like I mentioned, these. I really like the Creed movies with Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're great movies. They're great for the legacy of Rocky too. They don't, this is not a movie that does any harm to those. It adds a lot to those legacies. And I really like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a great actor too.
With a name like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he has that B in there, but just. It's a great story. Talks about this angry kid who doesn't know his dad, and then the mom finds out, or what ends up being his mom finds out. He's in foster care after the things that happened to Apollo happen. She picks him up and orphans him and raises him, and then he decides he's gonna be a boxer. And
Okay, so maybe I haven't seen these.
No.
So it's like a spin-off of Rocky,
yeah,
more or
it's a
less?
spin-off of Rocky. And
Okay.
it's a direct spin-off. Rocky ends up becoming his coach in
Gotcha.
it. He gets challenged. Challenges, I can't remember who it is. I think he actually ends up the same way as Rocky loses the first match, the big one that he
Okay.
ends up getting in the because it's an English guy who is actually a professional boxer that he faces that's going to jail, and he's trying to get this payday, and then this leaks out that this guy is Creed's son.
Okay.
And they find out in nefarious ways.
Oh.
So they offer him this so he can make a bunch of money, and he ends up almost beating the guy.
Okay.
And then in the second one, he fights Drago's son.
All right.
Yep. So, which is a great movie. So,
Yeah.
If you have not watched these movies, definitely go
I'm gonna
watch them.
check 'em out.
They are very, very good movies. I think they're both on Amazon Prime, not where you can buy or rent. Like that, you can just go watch them.
Okay. Yep. I've got all that stuff, so I'm gonna check those out.
Yeah.
I'm a huge baseball guy. Baseball more than anything. So another ones that I thought of was the one of Steve Nebraska, where he's the pitcher that throws the 27 pitch perfect game. It's 3 strikeouts. It's kind of like a mythical thing. I can't think of his name the name of the movie for some reason.
Let me see if I can
Steve
Google it.
Nebraska baseball movie. But anyway, he can throw the ball like 130 miles an hour. It's a fictional character where he's ridiculous. He's got a lot of attitude issues. The Scout. Yes. And then another baseball movie is the one with Robert Redford. The Natural.
Yes.
The Wonder Boy bat. The story. A couple of the mythical ones though, where they're not real people, but make really cool stories. Where he just had this weird disease where all he could do is hit bombs. Another one being a baseball movie that I didn't say. I said Bull Durham being on my honorable mention, but I think that one needs talked about a little bit more.
Yes.
Just
Yes,
because.
it does.
I mean, he hit the freaking bull, man. I honestly put this on my honorable mention after I'd already made my top 10 list. So this one is another one that I watch all the time. I always, before baseball movies.
There was another one. Keep talking. I have another one that didn't make our list. That I don't know how it didn't make our list.
Oh, go ahead. Take it away.
The Replacements.
The Replacements. I believe Woody had that on his honorable
Okay, did he? And we didn't. Okay, well, that should have made my list too, because that is definitely one of my favorite movies.
The Replacements. Ole, ole,
Ole, ole, ole.
Yeah. Nigel the kicker. You know, he's a soccer player.
Keanu Reeves with his left-handed Flacco.
Keanu Reeves, hardball.
Hardball is a great one there too. Days of Thunder. That was one that's what I was actually looking up.
Okay.
Was to figure out that one.
I don't think I've seen Days of Thunder.
It's a racing movie. You're not big on racing.
Nope.
But it's got Tom Cruise in there as the young driver. But mainly I was trying to figure out who else was in that movie because my uncle played blackjack with him one time in Mississippi.
Okay.
And I was trying to think of who that was. So you can keep talking on yours.
All right, so some more movies that we didn't think of. Oh, Mr. 3000, which is
that's a
Bernie
great
Mac
one.
movie.
That's a
where
good one.
He comes back from retirement because he had his stats counted twice during one game, so he has 3 hits.
3 hits. 3 hits.
That was an accidental.
That was not good.
3 hits short of his 3,000 hits because he retired right after he got his 3,000th one in a very unceremoniously way. But came back, ended up being the whole season and got 2 hits.
Yep.
So he changed all of his local businesses to Mr. 2099.
And then he figures out he's not so cocky, as
Yeah,
we'll
it
say.
made him a better
Made him a
person.
better person, and made the other guys that Rex was the big hitter on that team.
Rex Pennebaker,
Rex
man.
Pennebaker, that's right. I couldn't remember his last name, and then they, I think they end up making the playoffs or something like that.
Yep.
Too.
Yep.
So,
Milwaukee Brewers,
yeah,
man.
it was a Brewers.
I was kind of wishing that, Bob Uecker was in that one, but
Yeah, where was Bob Uecker in that? How do you do that and not have Bob Uecker?
another baseball one is with Tom Selleck, the one where he is playing in Japan. I can't think of the name of that one, but he also. Why do I bring these up? I'm thinking of so many of these movies, and I can't think of the name of them. So never mind on that one.
Well, if you haven't seen, this guy is a baseball guru, and he will, he's probably seen about every baseball movie there is.
Yeah,
and-
Tom Selleck's in a baseball movie. Just FYI.
So,
he plays in Japan, and it's great.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think that's going to be the end of our show here. Like, comment, subscribe. Bring up your own list on YouTube.
Tell us what we did wrong. Tell us what we missed.
Tell us some of the names we forgot and some of the
Give us
movies
some
we
good
might have
stuff to
forgot.
watch.
Yes, and also, any recommendations for other movies we have not seen? Definitely let us know.
Yes. Love sitting down and watching some sports movies. Winter's coming up, so I'm going to have some more to do.
Yep. So follow the YouTube, follow the TikTok. I don't know if we've actually mentioned this, but we try to go live Wednesday night and do a fantasy football.
That's kind of been
stream.
doing well on
That's
TikTok.
been doing
here lately.
very well for TikTok.
So check us out on
Check
that.
us out. If you got questions, trade questions, we'll answer them. We may not be right, but we're going to try.
Yeah, that's right.
So, all righty. See you guys.